on this Wednesday night.
So it doesn't taste good either, and it's not drinkable.
The water is supposed to be clean and safe, so why are so many people afraid to drink it? A CBC News investigation.
This is very serious business.
Ottawa cracks down on drones, from age limits to drunk droning. What you need to know to avoid fines or worse.
I'm hoping that he really did learn from what he did to me.
Struck by a drunk driver, her hip and pelvis shattered. Why she wants to team up with the man who changed her life forever. This is The National.
Few things are as important to the quality of people's lives than access to clean water. It's so basic, and on too many First Nations reserves, that access is sorely lacking. Since the Liberal government began taking action on the issue, 78 boil water advisories have been lifted. But even on reserves where the water is apparently safe to drink, there is another barrier: indoor plumbing. Now, at first glance, there's been progress. Over the past decade, the number of homes on reserve without indoor plumbing has dropped by 40%. On the front lines of that struggle, the fly-in communities on Island Lake, about 600 kilometers north of Winnipeg. But the situation in Garden Hill is telling. None of the new federal monies for water treatment is coming here. As Connie Walker shows us, it's not just about how clean the water is, but how to get it to the tap.
Zachary Flett does what he can to help his family stay warm and safe this winter. But it's hard in a house with no furnace, no power, and no running water.
I wake up 6 o'clock in the morning, I make fire, I get ready for the day.
The wood stove helps, but living without water is a huge burden for Zachary and his grandmother Maggie.
We have to get water every day. We use about 5 or 6 pails.
Keeping ourselves clean is pretty important in terms of hygiene and health.
What about for the bathroom?
I don't think you would want to see it. Well, there's an outdoor.
There's an outhouse there.
Only half the homes in Garden Hill have piped water, but hundreds, like the Fletts, aren't connected and don't have any water at all. Hundreds more rely on a water truck like this. It delivers water to houses that have cisterns. Basically, a water tank just outside or underneath their homes. The cisterns were put in after an outbreak of swine flu in 2009. The federal government pledged $40 million to retrofit homes in the region. Now, about a third of the houses in Garden Hill have cisterns and a sewage tank. Inside this shed is one of those new water tanks. So this house now has running water and indoor plumbing. But we've talked to a lot of people who have these tanks and say they still have problems. The pumps break, the lines freeze, and the tank runs out. And with only 2 water trucks servicing this entire community, they can wait a few days, a few weeks, even up to a month to get a refill. You don't drink this water?
No, we don't.
Why not?
Because it's sticky.
Wallace Knott now has a cistern and running water, but that doesn't mean he trusts it.
Put your hand in here, you can feel it. Sticky.
Can I feel it?
And feel your hand after.
Oh, look, there's a film on it.
Yeah. That's why it doesn't taste good either. And it's not drinkable.
Or reliable. Wallace runs out of water nearly every 2 weeks, and sometimes when the water tank is empty, the sewage tank is full.
When it gets too full, well, the sewage starts coming out of the bathtubs and it starts to get smelly in here.
The federal government is spending $1.8 billion to end boil water advisories on reserves.
Is this one running good?
But that won't help the people in Garden Hill. They don't have a water advisory.
There you go. See, it's turning.
The water from their treatment plant is already safe to drink.
There is chlorine in my system.
It was Andrew Flett's job to make sure of it.
Every day. There's no breaks, no holidays when it comes to this job.
But he gets his water here, at the community fountain. He doesn't trust the water in his cistern either.
It's full of bacteria and you can get sick, cause like diarrhea, eating problems and all that.
Have you gotten sick from the water?
Yes, we did a few years ago. It was severe with my daughter and my wife because when they would eat, they couldn't keep anything down.
With so many barriers to access safe drinking water, Zachary knows that some people watching from their comfortable homes down south might wonder why he stays.
Because this is home. No matter how bad things are, or how people look at it and view it, this is home because not only of the beauty, not only of the history, but as a community, we choose to make this our home.
And so here's Connie Walker with more on Garden Hill. These cisterns obviously are supposed to help, and maybe this is a dumb question, but why aren't they being cleaned?
Well, Indigenous Services says that they give the band money to clean the cisterns, $100 per cistern per year. But the band says that money only is enough to clean half the cisterns every year. So there's a disagreement about that. But where there is agreement is that they both agree that the money that the band gets for maintenance and operations is inadequate.
So if there's agreement on the problem, is there any consensus or any sign of solutions on the horizon?
Well, Indigenous Services says that they know the formula they use is outdated and they're in consultations right now with the AFN to come up with a new formula, but no word on when that's actually going to be implemented. But for people like Zachary and Maggie Flett, it's not just a water issue, it's a housing issue. And the band says they have a housing crisis. They need 300 homes in their community, but the reality is they only get enough to build 12 units a year right now.
Yeah, it's a real crisis. Connie, thanks very much.
Thanks, Adrian.
To Washington now, where a meeting between Donald Trump and the Democrats aimed at ending the shutdown devolved into anger and disarray. The president even calling it a waste of time. Discussions once again hit a roadblock over his border wall, and government workers, well, they're no closer to getting paid. Paul Hunter now on a day with lots of drama, but very little movement.
And so it was that the mightiest country on earth sank ever deeper into political chaos.
Our meeting did not last long.
Senior Democrats, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and others after a sit-down today with Donald Trump aimed at ending the partial government shutdown.
He asked Speaker Pelosi, will you agree to my wall? She said no. And he just got up and said, then we have nothing to discuss, and he just walked out. Again, we saw a temper tantrum.
Meanwhile, somewhere nearby, Trump tweeted, "A total waste of time," he wrote. Bye-bye. Caught in the middle, those 800,000 federal workers ordered to stay home or work without pay.
The president seems to be insensitive to that. He thinks maybe they could just ask their father for more money.
All of it because Trump won't sign off on funding the government unless Democrats agree on funding for a longer border wall, even as Trump cites an ever more dire security threat as evidence the U.S. needs one.
Thousands more lives will be lost if we don't act right now.
Critics deride that as pure propaganda, Trump's own version of fake news. Democrats say there are smarter, far more cost-effective ways to secure the border without a wall, leaving the two sides dug in.
There will be no deal without a wall. There will be no deal without the priorities the president has put on the table.
Today's meeting was so abrupt, some are saying Trump might have even staged it in order to help make the case this really is a national emergency and maybe get the wall funded without Democratic support. Tomorrow, the president visits the border in Texas. At his side, no doubt, will be Border Patrol agents who themselves are now working without pay. Paul Hunter, CBC News, Washington.
And those border agents aren't the only ones waiting for a check. Here's a look ahead at who else will have to go without if the shutdown continues. Friday is scheduled to be a payday for many federal workers, but they won't get anything if this drags on. And by Saturday, it will become the longest government shutdown in U.S. history, exceeding the 21-day shutdown of December '95. By next Tuesday, the U.S. Coast Guard members will miss their paychecks, and today their families were told through an online tip sheet to consider having a garage sale or babysitting to try to make ends meet. By Friday, January 18th, federal district courts will run out of money. Criminal cases will go on, but civil cases may get bumped. And the U.S. government shutdown is affecting Canadians too, though less acutely. There's a backlog on applications for Nexus cards, which allow accelerated cross-border travel. Canadian officials are still administering them, but the Americans are not.
Now, Canadians may soon have bigger concerns than delays at the border. Bank of Canada Chief Stephen Poloz announced today the key overnight interest rate would hold steady. It's not going up, which, if you hold debt, is great news. But if you listen closely, it's also a big sign of economic uncertainty.
The U.S.-led trade war is beginning to have negative economic consequences. Is the world economy moderating? Yes. Is the Canadian economy moderating? Yes. And as today's decision to keep our key policy interest rate unchanged illustrates, we are decidedly data dependent.
Okay, in short, there's a lot going on out there right now, some of it bad, and policymakers need time to see how it plays out. So, after 5 rate hikes since the summer of 2017, the benchmark interest rate will stay at 1.75%. Now, make no mistake, Poloz also says rates will need to climb again over time. And it's those 2 words, over time, that have people wondering exactly when Canada will be drifting into rougher waters. So let's decode what Poloz might be thinking. What and why? Here's our business correspondent, Peter Armstrong.
For most of us, the central bank jargon plays second fiddle to what this all means for our mortgages and debt loads. Rates may not have changed today, but Stephen Poloz offered up some insight into where they're headed and when they may get there. Poloz has spent years trying to get interest rates back to what he calls neutral. Neutral, he says, is somewhere between 2.5% and 3.5%, depending on what else is going on in the economy at the time. So, like art, he'll know interest rates are at neutral when he sees it.
You know, a bit like landing an airplane on a foggy day. You feel the wheels touch, and then you think, we've arrived.
Even in deliberately vague anecdotes, Poloz leaves clues. The bottom range is 2.5%. Right now, we're at 1.75%. So that's 3 hikes to get back to neutral. We were expecting those 3 rate hikes this year, but now the bank has a laundry list of troubles weighing down the economy and will only say rates will rise over time. So it looks like debt-weary Canadians will have an easier 2019.
Borrowers can be relieved that in the end of the day, we may only get a single 0.25% rate hike, and that might be it.
It'd be easy to hear all this and have serious concerns given all the uncertainty, the global trade wars, and falling oil prices. But
by just about every measure, the Canadian economy is doing slightly worse than it was last year. But by no means does that mean we're in a recession. It just means we have to face a slower economy in 2019 than we were in 2017 or 2018.
Okay, so Peter, a lot of uncertainty out there. What can the Bank of Canada actually do to mitigate that?
Stephen Poloz has the problem that every central bank governor has, is he doesn't have a lot of options. He can raise or he can lower interest rates, and there's not a lot else he can do. Here he's decided to wait, which I guess is its own option, but he's dealing with 3 big things, the global economy and then kind of a 2-track Canadian economy, the energy economy and the non-energy economy, which are behaving very differently.
Okay, thanks a lot, Peter.
You bet.
No drunk droning. That's just one of a few ways Transport Canada is cracking down today on drones and maybe more particularly the people who fly them. Now, there are already rules in place, but some are being made stricter and some are brand new. So let's take you through what you need to know before you take that new Christmas present out for a spin. The rules apply to any drone over 250 grams. That's about the weight of a small cup of coffee. To fly one of these, you've got to be at least 14 sober and pass an online written test. You'll get a pilot certificate, and you've got to carry it with you.
To prove that you are not just somebody who went and bought it and put it in the air.
Like before, you have to be able to see your drone at all times, and there's a height restriction. You can't fly any more than 400 feet up in the air, which is about 40 stories high. But you also can't fly over any emergency scene where first responders are working, no outdoor events, and as before, you have to stay well clear of airports. That last point, the government is taking very seriously. Think back to all those drone sightings that crippled London's Gatwick Airport for 3 days in December. Everything shut down. And yesterday, drones grounded flights at Heathrow for over an hour.
It is a serious criminal offense to interfere with the operations of an airport.
If you break the rules, you could be looking at a stiff fine or even jail time.
If you cause an accident that can have enormous repercussions, then you have to realize that there will be a price to pay for that.
So piloting a drone, big responsibility, right? Which is why in at least one school in Winnipeg, they're showing kids the ropes early. Cameron McIntosh shows us how.
So when you get to play with one of these, class gets a little more interesting.
Pitch is going up and down.
In Manitoba's Frontier School Division, that's the philosophy, as high school students learn piloting skills.
We're connecting the drone, the UAV technology into curricula, science curricula.
Arif Kassim believes this program to be the first of its kind in Canada. Under the new regulations, students will be able to start flying as young as 14.
We're not restricted to having grade 10 to 12 students flying, but rather we can bring them down to grade 8 or 9 students.
You see this also as a way to position these kids for some industry of tomorrow that maybe we can't even imagine right
Totally. Yeah, totally.
You won't be able to fly in any airspace. Professional trainer Matt Johnson says that future requires these new and clearer regulations.
General consensus of people coming to our course to start it off is that they've tried to sort through the regulations, but they just don't really know exactly what they are allowed to do and what they're not allowed to do.
While the need to register a drone and get a license may discourage some recreational users, drone racer Wally Croker believes most users will abide by the regulations.
I see it like boating. Like if you're going to drive a boat, you need a license to do that, right? It's similar to that.
The potential for abuse remains, like the drone that collided with this plane in Quebec in 2017. Drone pilots are subject to fines and criminal charges. But for now, new regulations will not bring new money for enforcement.
We're going to see whether the fact that people now have to follow these regulations, and we're going to continue the education process, will be sufficient to ensure that most Canadians will follow the law.
Safety first here, as these kids embrace the technology of the future.
This just gives them the opportunity to start somewhere.
Literally at the touch of a button. Cameron McIntosh, CBC News, Winnipeg.
Here are some of the other stories we're following tonight. The Prime Minister has set February 25th as the date for 3 federal by-elections. A lot is riding on the race in Burnaby South, that's just outside Vancouver, where the NDP leader Jagmeet Singh is running. The others are in the Ontario riding of York Simcoe, vacant since the retirement of Conservative Peter Van Loan, and Outremont in Quebec, vacated by former NDP leader Tom Mulcair in August. Ashley Judd's sexual harassment case against producer Harvey Weinstein has been thrown out by a federal judge in Los Angeles. The actress is one of the driving forces behind the Me Too movement and claimed Weinstein shut her out of movie roles in retaliation for turning down his sexual advances. That motion was dismissed. Judd can still proceed with a defamation lawsuit. This flu season has been a brutal one across Canada, especially for kids. Pediatric hospitals are seeing a surge in cases as the H1N1 virus sweeps across the country. And now we've learned it's killed 3 preschoolers in Saskatchewan. 2-year-old Kaylin Hansen first became sick early last month, testing positive for the H1N1 type A influenza. That is a particularly virulent strain going around this year. Doctors said Kaylin wasn't getting enough oxygen, so she was rushed to Saskatoon by air ambulance. She later died. And the province has 2 other kids under 5 who are not vaccinated have also died. The Saskatchewan Health Authority is now urging parents to make sure all kids under the age of 9 get the flu shot.
The flu vaccine is safe, effective. With an H1N1 strain, it works really well.
Health officials want to remind people that H1N1 is even dangerous to kids with strong immune systems.
If the child has signs that are concerning, and that includes signs like rapid breathing, not eating and drinking, not wanting even to be held up, those are signs that you should then seek urgent care.
24 people had already died during this flu season by the end of 2018.
Okay, next on The National. The Prime Minister waded straight into the fight over the LNG pipeline during appearances in BC today. Renee Filipponi will take us there.
Plus, Canadian scientists discover a message from halfway across the universe, but what or who sent it?
And a stunning moment inside a Montreal courtroom. A young woman whose life was forever altered by a drunk driver extends a remarkable offer.
I've been thinking about it for a long time. I never told anyone because I didn't want nobody to change my opinion.
Arrests on Monday, cross-country protests on Tuesday, and today in northern BC, a hopeful development at one of the camps set up to protest a pipeline. As Renee Filipponi tells us, hereditary chiefs of the Wet'suwet'en territory have come to an agreement with the RCMP.
That's what we're hoping for, a peaceful resolution to what's going on.
The day started off with tension as RCMP approached Wet'suwet'en supporters outside the police roadblock. But that's been the norm here for days.
Not once have any of our people ever been violent towards anybody.
Oh yeah, there's Jeff. But that tension started to lift when one hereditary chief arrived, sharing news that many here were waiting for.
Chiefs have made a decision. We'll follow it, we'll honor it, and we expect the RCMP to honor it too.
The agreement will allow Coastal GasLink workers back on the road, as long as they are only surveying and not doing any construction. In return, people here won't have to worry about another situation like this. RCMP broke through one roadblock set up to stop pipeline construction earlier this week. The people camped there described the experience as traumatic. Controversy over the project and Monday's arrest has spurred demonstrations across the country. Today, people on both sides of the debate clashed in Kamloops, where the Prime Minister was holding a town hall.
We move forward on the LNG Canada project, which is the largest private sector investment in Canada's history, $40 billion.
BC's Premier, who supports the LNG project, says getting consensus is difficult, even within individual First Nations.
13 houses, 5 clans in Wet'suwet'en territory. Speaks to the challenges that investors have, the challenges that government has, and the challenges, in fact, Indigenous communities have.
I'm Rebecca. Hereditary chiefs have till the end of the month to present their case and challenge the court injunction. They're not giving up. This is an emotional battle.
It's for those little guys, their children, their grandchildren, so they can walk on the same and enjoy the same territory we do today.
But at least on the Wet'suwet'en First Nation today, there's hope for the future.
Count it. Right on, buddy.
Renee Filipponi, CBC News, near Houston, BC.
So the pipeline debate has left the community divided, with hereditary chiefs opposed and the elected band council in favor. The clash and confusion is the result of two parallel forms of leadership. Many Indigenous communities used to be governed by hereditary leaders known to European settlers as chiefs. But the 1876 Indian Act tried to change that by imposing a system of elected chiefs and band councils. The result today is that some communities have both hereditary chiefs and elected leaders, and exactly who is in charge of what varies from place to place.
Still ahead on the national Getting Healthy Around the World. Why can't China kick its smoking habit? We look at the government-backed industry behind lighting up.
And meet the people behind a movement to get sober in a place halfway around the world where alcohol is still a #1 killer.
We are new Russians. We don't drink alcohol.
Chris Brown takes us to Moscow in this week's Dispatch. That's next.
It's New Year's resolution time when many people pledge to quit their bad habits and just get to the gym. But beating addiction and improving health are year-round challenges all over the world. Tonight, we take a look at China's struggle with a massive smoking problem, and we look to Russia, where decades ago a common image was this.
1 in 12 Russian men is an alcoholic. The average adult male downing the equivalent of half a bottle of vodka a day.
The decline and fall of the Soviet Union tore through Russia like a hurricane, leaving economic disruption and alcoholism in its wake. The consequences left a deep mark on a generation. But those who grew up in the 90s are now a major force in Russian politics and culture and are taking the country's relationship with alcohol in a different direction. Chris Brown's Dispatch takes us to Moscow and Russia's battle with the bottle.
It's past midnight, and we're driving through Moscow's vast eastern suburbs, getting ready for a kind of sting operation.
So we're going to the store that doesn't obey the law. They sell alcohol after 11 p.m., which is not legal in Russia. Уже подъедет.
Edward Grigoriev is with a youth group called Sober Russia. Think of him as a kind of booze vigilante, a civilian who helps police enforce Russia's alcohol laws.
Well, we do this because we think that this can make Russia a better place to live in. This is like maybe in the future our kids will also hang out like at night, and we don't want them to have to die from the alcohol.
Whereas Russia once had perhaps the loosest alcohol laws on the planet and the worst rate of alcohol abuse, it's now swung hard in the other direction, thanks to a decade of successively tighter government regulations.
So he just went to the store and bought a couple bottles of beer, and it's 1 o'clock at night, 1:16. It's more than 2 hours that you cannot sell alcohol at all.
To ensure those rules are followed, Grigoriev and his volunteers carry out these exposés. With our camera rolling, we go inside, and sure enough, there's an illegal beer sale happening right before our eyes, though the buyer quickly pivots and says he was just buying water.
У нас вот есть человек, которому только что ты продал пиво. Я вас вижу не в первый раз, я вижу вас как минимум во второй раз.
Incredibly, the Sober Russia team go behind the counter and start pulling out all kinds of illegal liquor.
This is forbidden on the all Russian territory, alcohol energetic. So this is like Red Bull, but with alcohol. So this is forbidden at all.
The police will come in an hour or two, take the team statements, and then levy a fine on the shopkeeper. With all the new taxes, it's no wonder some people are continuing to make their own liquor. Police released this video in early December that shows a raid on a moonshine factory just outside of Moscow. They found 77,000 bottles of homemade vodka. It can be deadly stuff. 2 years ago in the Siberian city of Irkutsk, 78 people died after drinking a bad batch of homemade liquor. Stricter regulations, though, are only part of what's steering Russians away from excessive drinking. A new generation is also making healthier choices in their lifestyle. Yuri Sosoyev and his friend Alexei Forsenko have embraced a fitness-focused lifestyle, which means absolutely no booze.
We are new Russians. We don't drink alcohol.
Their sobriety comes as a result of traumatic experiences each had in their childhood.
У меня был, если сейчас оглянуться, детский алкоголизм, да, так называемый. Я рос в 90-е годы. В 90-е годы в России было достаточно тяжелое время, и алкоголь употребляли практически все.
Я попробовал водку где-то лет в 13. Я употреблял алкоголь до достаточно большого возраста. И вот только когда у меня появились дети, это случилось 5 лет назад, я понял, что алкоголь не должен быть в моей семье.
И происходит вот, что происходит в пятницу вечером. Алкоапокалипсис мы называем это.
Both men work as actors and filmmakers in Moscow, and they've just finished this project. It's a short movie called The Outcast. It features a teen boy who gets taunted by his friends because he won't drink. He makes a decision to say no rather than succumb to peer pressure.
Нет. We show two ways. Alcohol way and healthy lifestyle way.
Alexei and Yuri have been taking their movie to Russian high schools. They urge students to read up about the harms of drinking on the internet, and they talk about their own choices.
Наверное, с вашего возраста, с 15 лет, я этого не стесняюсь. Я был алкоголиком. Я в школе употреблял. У меня 8 класс начинался с бутылки пива. И в 22 года у меня произошел просто сигнал из космоса, и я бросил пить и курить в один момент.
But for all the success Russia has had, progress has also been very uneven. Today in Russia's Far East, 70% of men under the age of 35 who die are still killed by alcohol. And the healthcare system is continuing to cope with the legacy of generations of heavy drinkers. You can see that here. This is Moscow's main alcohol rehab center. We were given a rare opportunity to look inside the emergency ward. Every bed was full of people in very bad shape. They were detoxifying and drying out.
The third floor up there?
Yes, up there, here.
Ekaterina Klukow was once in one of those beds herself.
Every time I drink and feel better,
Right.
drink, feel better, drink, feel better. Without drink, was nothing.
The rehab ward was her home twice, first in 2009 and then again in 2016 after a relapse.
Why? Because I'm alcoholic from my childhood, you know, I think so. Because I have seen this pattern from my mother, from my grandmother.
Klukow now works as a social worker, helping alcoholics find strategies to stay sober. She has a 17-year-old daughter, and she believes in today's Russia she'll have an easier time than she did.
Она предупреждена и видела столько страданий от всего происходящего со мной. Мама, если бы я жила так, как ты, я бы предпочла, чтобы меня вовсе не было. Я предпочла покончить жизнь самоубийством.
Vodka will remain the cornerstone of many a good party in Russia, but in Moscow's trendiest neighborhoods, moderation is in, as are wine bars and craft beer pubs. Thanks to successful national alcohol reduction policies, a new generation is making far healthier choices about how they drink than their parents. Chris Brown, CBC News, Moscow.
Russia's resolution to cut back on booze may be a big deal, but its health kick surely isn't catching on with the neighbors. China next door has its own habit to break, only it's not, and it's not even really trying. The addiction is smoking. Nearly a quarter of the country does it, more than anywhere else in the world, and those numbers are growing. So tonight we're asking, why can't China quit? So much for rules about not smoking inside. The scene was a few years ago after China enacted a law in Beijing banning smoking in public places. Clearly, it didn't work. The fine surely wasn't a deterrent, $1.50, outrageously cheap even then, even there. There have been other, arguably lackluster efforts to curb the habit. If China is serious, it will take more than a few signs or a few odd warning labels printed, curiously in English, on cigarette packs.
On every single pack of cigarettes in China from 2009 for a number of years, the warning labels were written in English, which is as bizarre in China as it would be for the warning labels in Canada to be written in Chinese.
Jeffrey Fong, an investigator at the International Tobacco Control Project, says the problem is China's not trying very hard because it may not really want to.
The government owns the tobacco industry in China. And so there is an extraordinary conflict of interest.
Imagine this, 315 million smokers, just 2% of women, but 52% of men smoking. Almost all of them taking drags from cigarettes produced by the China National Tobacco Company.
Because it's a state-owned enterprise, CNTC contributes somewhere between 7 and 10% of the gross revenue for the country.
That money matters, especially at a time when China's economy is no longer roaring. And no politician wants to upset hundreds of millions of constituents by banning smoking outright or making cigarettes too expensive. Fong's concerned that China is on the edge of being hit with a health crisis it may not be ready for, an aging population hooked on cigarettes.
You walk down the street in Beijing, Shanghai, you can count the men as they go by. Every third man that you see on the streets will be dead because of smoking. That's an extraordinary implication of the magnitude of the smoking problem in China.
Quitting smoking's always easier said than done, clearly much more so in China.
And next on The National, for a refugee, those first few days starting a new life in Canada can be confusing and scary.
It was a very, very dark moment for me. It was just like out of this, I was just trying to understand what was going on around me.
Next, Ron Charles takes us to a place that's changing the lives of young refugees. But first, tomorrow is Thursday, and that means that issue. Here's Rosie with a preview of what the gang will tackle.
The Prime Minister is taking his message on the road, but not everyone is so happy to see him. Some are upset over the lack of pipelines, while others continue to fight against them, and the optics aren't looking great for the government.
He's portraying himself a certain way, and he's just saying one thing and doing another.
All this as Trudeau announced the dates of 3 much-anticipated by-elections, and those results could hint at what's to come in the federal election. So what do all these factors mean for the government's political fortunes? It's a new year, there's a lot on the line. At Issue will be here to answer those questions and more. Andrew Coyne, Shachi Curl, and Andre Dumise join me tomorrow on The National.
Let's take a quick look at some of the other stories we're following tonight on The National, beginning with a school in Ottawa trying to stop students from vaping. St. Joseph High School is removing the entrance doors to washrooms. The school says it hopes to make it easier for teachers to detect students using so-called e-cigarettes. Those students could be suspended and fined up to $300.
JCA Sweeters is going to court. I'm taking them to court. It was my ticket.
Well, the Nova Scotia woman who made headlines for her legal battle over her Chase the Ace winnings has collected the final payment. Barb Reddick and her nephew went to court over the $1.2 million prize. She paid for it. Her nephew purchased it. Reddick ended up with $850,000, and she says now she'll never trust family. And a Mississauga family has been left shaken and confused after a giant chunk of ice blew through their roof. It landed in a bedroom closet early this morning, just meters from where a woman was sleeping. She counts herself very lucky.
I'm so glad that I'm alive because it could have hit me on my head.
So where did the chunk come from? The family suggested it could have fallen from a plane. Transport Canada says it's not aware of any incidents, but urged the family to file a report.
Wow. Okay, refugee advocates say over the past 20 years, there's been an increase in the number of unaccompanied youth arriving in Canada, and recent numbers seem to bear that out. Canada received almost 500 refugee claimants in 2017 who were under the age of 18 and alone. That's up from 287 the year before. Now, some have allies, a sponsor to meet them, and supports in place, but others have nothing and nowhere to go. That's where Matthew House comes in. Ron Charles shows us what it's all about.
Oh, and this skirt.
Elise McCullough was just 17 years old, all alone and terrified when she first arrived in Canada 5 years ago to claim refugee status. The violent turmoil in the Democratic Republic of the Congo split her family and sent the teenager fleeing to Zambia and eventually onto a flight to Toronto. She arrived as an unaccompanied minor seeking asylum. McCullough spoke several languages, including Swahili and French, but not a word of English.
Like, it was a very, very dark moment for me. It was just like, out of this, I was just trying to understand what was going on around me.
After 2 days in detention, officials sent her to a refugee shelter for minors and youth. McCullough remembers the woman who welcomed her at the door to Matthew House.
When I rang the bell, and then it was Hen. And then she was having this big smile. That was the first time I see a person with a big smile, because I'm a person of big smile too. I know how it feels like to see somebody with a big smile. So I was like, oh. Okay, I love this place.
The smiling figure at the door was longtime refugee settlement worker Ann Woolger, who founded Matthew House 20 years ago to help unsponsored refugee claimants. It was the increasing number of unaccompanied minors among those refugee claimants showing up at Canada's borders that led her to open this group home just for youth 10 years ago, and then another last year.
Well, over the years, as we were receiving the refugee claimants, we recognized that some of them, they were 15, 16, 17 years old by themselves with no parents. And we hated to have them just move into rooming houses and with people they didn't know.
She says the houses are not just shelters, but meant to provide young people split from their loved ones with the closest thing to a home and a family. That's what Nuruddin Ibrahim has found here. He originally ended up in a Toronto homeless shelter when he first arrived in Canada from Ethiopia 2 years ago.
Somewhere like where the people like sleep together, like drug addicted people. A very difficult place.
A shelter worker, seeing how young and vulnerable Ibrahim was, gave him the number for Matthew House, where he is still living today.
I don't have enough word to thank them for real, because like for the first time I didn't see the benefit of like being in here, but the more I stay, the more I see everything. Get your ID.
Khalid Siddiqui also finished high school, found a job, and has now left Matthew House to live in an apartment with roommates. He says none of it would have been possible without the help and guidance of Matthew House staff and the friendships he made with other youth. He returns to visit and help out regularly. When Siddiqui arrived from Afghanistan on his own 3 years ago, he saw North America through the eyes of an inexperienced teenager.
My view was from a guy who came from Afghanistan. I thought everything is peaceful and perfect in Western countries, but if you look at it's not just safe, like at 17 years old.
Over the past decade, the 24 spaces Matthew House has dedicated to unaccompanied minors have played host to a growing group of young people, many of whom see themselves as adopted siblings, something Woolger says can be replicated elsewhere in Canada. In the meantime, she's finding ways to help more young refugee claimants.
And so sometimes we can even send someone temporarily to someone's house. So there is kind of a growing network, and that's certainly my vision. I'd love to open more homes like this.
Elise Makola is studying building sciences at a Toronto college and working part-time.
Oh, my sister and my niece. Jemima.
So cute.
Yeah, and that is me.
But longing to help the family she left behind. Ron Charles, CBC News, Toronto.
Nice. Next on The National, our moment. A young woman whose life was forever changed by a drunk driver reaches out to him in court.
The past is the past. I can't change the past.
We explain her amazing offer next.
And I accept it for me.
In case you missed it, or them, the signals from a galaxy far, far away. Canadian astronomers have discovered a mysterious phenomenon again. They're called fast radio bursts. Those cosmic signals or brief pulses of radio waves were detected by the CHIME telescope in BC. Exciting, but the problem is the pulses last mere milliseconds before they disappear.
They discovered 13 of these fast radio bursts. One, which is a repeating fast radio burst, and it is only the second of its kind.
So a big discovery, at least for scientists, but also a big question. What do the pulses mean?
It's a big mystery. You know, we all love solving mysteries. We see something, we want to know more about it if we don't understand it. But it also helps us better understand the universe, the formation of the universe, and objects that are out there.
Speaking of out there, where are the sounds coming from? What or who sent them?
Sure, the idea of aliens comes up. Could it be an alien civilization, you know, sending out a signal? But I think that's pretty much off the table, and we just think it's something that is very highly magnetized, and something's happening to send out these signals.
But what is that something that's happening? If the repeating bursts could helpfully keep repeating, maybe they'll figure it out. Maybe. Tina Adams was just 20 years old when her life changed forever. She was out jogging with a friend in Hudson, Quebec, when a car hit her. The driver was drunk and arrested at the scene. Adams suffered a number of life-altering injuries, including a cracked skull and a fractured spine. That was a little more than 3 years ago. The driver has since pled guilty, and today at his sentencing hearing, Adams did something extraordinary. She asked him to partner with her as she goes to schools to talk to students about the impact of his actions. Her remarkable offer is our moment of the day.
I've been thinking about it for a long time. I never told anyone because I didn't want nobody to change my opinion. So even my father got taken by surprise. I think it would make a huge impact on students, in schools. You know, the people, when I'm speaking, it has a really big impact. And I'm sure with also the guy who did this to me, it will have an even bigger impact.
I was really surprised about it. I didn't expect that. And I mean, it's her decision.
You must be proud.
I am.
What did you hear that pushed you to say that?
He put his man pants on and he apologized. And just the fact that when he pleaded guilty in June, I was just happy for that. I've undergone 19 surgeries and I live through pain and suffering every single day.
And do you accept his apology?
The past is the past. I can't change the past. So yes, I do. And I accept it for me, so I could move on with my life.
This amazing woman wanted to be a police officer, realizes that's probably not going to happen now, but determined to be civic-minded. Again, didn't tell her dad, didn't tell the Crown. They want him to do some time, but she wants to make it better than that.
Well, and a hell of a presentation they'll have to give too, right? I mean, it's incredible what this woman has been through. I mean, suffered a cracked skull, traumatic brain injury, fractured spine, blood clot in her head, 2 punctured lungs, fractured ribs, internal bleeding, burns, nerve damage. Her resolve unbroken, though.
Second night in a row when either a victim or parent of a victim has said that a guilty plea made a big difference to them in terms of taking responsibility. And, you know, a real challenge, I think, for how we think about sentences, how punitive they should be, or maybe something creative should come out of it. That is The National for Wednesday, January the 9th.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.